now that the kids are in the state custody, the biggest thing is they're going to try to find a placement for the child. So, or is the mom even a placement, possibility?
Well, they didn't give them to her. Oh, they had a hearing, like, where they showed up at the house. They said, you're going to be here by 10 o'clock. They showed up at 9. And they had already had a hearing the day before, and I was like locked away with no communication for previous 5 days. So I came into it completely blind and in the dark of what was going on. So I think they had capitalized and leveraged her as a witness against herself and also against me and against the boy. I don't know because I wasn't there, and I don't know what exactly was said, but I only got the tail end of it that day I went to court. And I told him I wanted him to return my property, and and I wanted to report the theft because I felt very strongly that that's exactly what it be.
What did the mom want?
Well, I've had him since he was born. Well, since he was 1, I should say, and I've raised him myself, for 9 years, and it's really been wonderful. Quite honestly, it's been really great. But she's been she had a problem with drug addiction, and he was born in jail. Well, I would say she was in a home at the end of a 7-month stretch, so 9 months of pregnancy. The last 2 was like in a home where he was born, and then when they let her out, he was actually born addicted to methadone, and when they let her out, they took her off of the methadone because they no longer had custody of her, so they stopped giving her state insurance, and of course at that particular time they didn't wean her off, they just took her off. And she couldn't handle it after 7 months of being on methadone in jail, pregnant. So she couldn't handle it, and she was, she came back, was living with me, and I went off to work one day, and I came back, and she wasn't home, and the baby was gone too. She went and she was using street drugs, shooting heroin, and she took the baby with her. So at that particular time, I didn't know what the fuck to do at all. I really didn't. So I did the only thing I thought that I could do. I was working. I had to file for an emergency custody hearing in New Hampshire, and they gave him to me. And I've never been one to keep her away from him, but she's been off and on through the years. And right now, this year, she's been the best she's ever been, and she's working, and she's been doing a lot better. I'm really quite proud of her, to be honest with you. So it's been 9-10 years, but the boy loves his mom, and he's like my whole life. I spend every day. I educate him 5 hours a day. I even gave up a career just to spend time teaching and bringing this little boy up. It's been my whole life. He's really been around a really wonderful and good family, and his mom has been a part of his life a lot over the past year too. But so she went in there, they capitalized on her, used leverage, and they villainized me. They tried to get a restraining order against me, all when I wasn't even there to defend myself or nothing. And they tried to get her to do that, and then what happened was she wouldn't do it. She's like, no, I'm not doing that. They said, oh, if you get a restraining order against him, then we'll give you the kid back. And she said, no, I'm not going to do that because he's been really good to us, and there's no reason I should do that. But they got her scared. They got, but the cops showed up at her mom's house and her house like 40 times, at my mother's house. They put out like a manhunt for me. They grabbed me in the road and threw me in jail and, took him off to, when I came back, I was really shocked that they didn't bring him back to his mom or his grandmother's, and they kind of just kept him. So, and the whole thing started from, me entertaining the idea of letting him go into the public school this year because that's what his grandmother's wanted and that's what his mother wanted. And I said, you know what? I'll do it. I just don't like people sticking needles in his arms. He said vaccinations up till he was age 3, and I don't like the new ones. There's mercury and shit in there. I said, if they, they'll let me do a religious waiver, and they'll allow certain things to remain private. And then I said, I'll do it. I'll let you guys do it. And so I was trying to do something good, and then this whole thing fucking snowballed, and now my son is gone, and I'm lost. I'm fucking lost. It's that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
Well, no, you didn't explain why they didn't give it to the mom or the grandma.
They talked the mom into filing for, custody. I had custody given to me in New Hampshire from a long time, for 10 years ago, or 9 years ago. And so they did talk her into going for it. And what happened is that all these years that I've had it, and she hasn't spoken up about anything, she's just kind of let things be the way they are, They said, well, why all of a sudden does she want custody now, right? And so they perverted it so that they made it look like she was afraid of me, and that's why she hasn't taken any action until all this time. And so when I went in there and I started making property claims, I said, I'm not here to be ambushed in your court. I require a court record in a common law court. And I'm a man, and I want my property returned to me, and I want to report a theft. And they basically the man acting as judge there, he looked at me at the end of it all and said that it's clear that this man is not going to follow the rules of my court. That's how he put it. And then he said, and that woman or Amanda, although not physically threatened or physically, he kind of made it appear as though I was controlling her by using my son. And it was really not the case at all. I mean, I never did that. I've always been like, you should love your mom, and I'm a mama's boy. I love my mom. So the point is, and so he made it look like she was afraid of me, intellectually, in that way. And so he's like, so if I give him to her, she's not going to be able to control this man, and so I'm giving the custody to the state.
Do you want you to say I'm not looking for you? You can say you give the custody to the state. That's fine. Just return my property.
Well, I did. I mean, I stood on that as firmly as I could, and I think where I screwed up was he asked me, and I just didn't realize he was kind of tricking me. But he asked me. He said, if I give, he said, will you let this court and me give her your property or your son? I don't know. He said something like that, and I said I would accept you giving my property to her or me, and that's it. And that's what I told him. But I think at that point in time, I gave him some authority to do something, and he did what he wanted to do.
Right. He says, no, I require you to return my property immediately. Bob, Joe, whatever his name is. Hey, Bob, you got my property and where it lies, give it back. Well, I'm a judge. I don't give a shit. You're a part-time judge. You're always a man. You're a man. I'm a man. Give me back my property. Can I keep your property, Bob? No. It doesn't matter if I'm wearing a crown on my head, does it, Bob? No. You got to give back a man his property. You guys talk too much, man. And the judge will say, hey, do you mind if I give custody of this baby over to your wife? Will you leave her alone? Will you let him be, or will you follow court orders? No. What court orders? I don't follow any orders, man. I'm a man. Just give me back my property. Bob, you'll address me as judge. Okay, that's the name, judge.
No, I told him we were talking man to man, and he let me address. He didn't have any problem with me addressing him as Kenneth King, but Kenneth. And so, and he was calling. I mean, I don't know if he was mocking me. I think he was mocking me. He was calling me Man David. David.
That's good. No, if there's some calling Man David, that's fine. Call him Man Call. That's fine. I'm not defendant Call. I'm Man Call.
Well, that's what and he also agreed. I said, does this court have jurisdiction over man? And he said, yes. I said, is that your opinion, or is that the law? Can you put that in writing for me, or swear it under oath? And he said, no. Right. He said, I'm not a witness.
That's right. Like I said, the big thing is when a judge says something like that, you just say, you're a man, and I require you to return my property. Be a fellow man. And he says, I'm a judge. You say, well, you're acting as a judge. That's true, but you are always a man. God made you a man. You will always be a man, but you won't always be a judge, and you weren't always a judge. But you're always a man. So return my property to your fellow man. I require you to return my property, Bob. Or Kenneth, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, so the whole thing went on for about 3 hours. It was long.
Bob, if you don't want to return my property, then just pay me compensation. Then you're going to have to compensate me for keeping my property. I require my property. I have a need for my property. I require my property. It's my property. I use it. I enjoy it. If you want to use it and enjoy my property, that's fine. Just compensate me.
You would turn around and say, well, we don't, use,
I didn't ask if Lu Fong Wee was in the courtroom. I said, I'm talking to Bob. I'm talking to Kenneth. I'm not asking Lu Fong Wee. I'm not looking for no Chinese guy. I mean, you don't look Chinese, Kenneth. Is that your name, Kenneth Wee? No, we don't. I'm not, some Chinese guy named Mr. Wee in this courtroom? What's a pronoun? I don't have to know. I'm not a you. I'm not a we. I'm not a he. I'm not a she. Don't call him a man. That's what I am. Other than that, I don't have a effing clue. You know, so do I want custody of my kid? Of course not. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
You know, I tried in good faith to when I first heard that.
Well, what if I was the judge and I said, "Did you want custody of your kid?" What would you say?
Do I want custody? I would say no. He's already mine.
No, the judge would say, "Look, I'll make it short and sweet. You just tell me yes or no. Do you want me to give you custody? Or do you want me to give it to the state?"
Me. But you know,
the judge just gives you. I'll give you 2 seconds to answer me. And
I would just say return my property to me now. Like I've been demanding the whole time throughout.
The judge will say, "Sir, I'll give you one more fucking chance." And you're lucky he gives you 2 chances. He'll ask you one fucking time. Do you want me to give the custody to you, or do you want me to give the custody to the state?
I didn't really intend on giving him any authority to give custody.
It's going to the state. Fuck you. It's going to the state. Goodbye. Next case. Ask you a simple fucking question. Who do you think wants to listen to your stupid crap? I ask you a question, yes or no. Do you want the custody to go to the state, or do you want custody?
I want custody.
Yeah, do you know what custody means?
No.
No. So why don't you just say, "Can I have leave of court so I could..."
Well, I know what it means to me.
No,
because
just fuck yourself and just listen to me. Okay? Go busy jerk off somewhere, because I ain't got the mute button to shut you the fuck up. Okay? Because if somebody says something to you in open court, why don't you say, "Hey, sir, I'm going to require leave of court so I go get competent counsel so I can understand what this word custody that you're referring to means," because honestly, I don't know what I want or what I don't want by the means of this word custody or any other word he uses. Is there some reason why you can't just say, "I'm going to require leave of court so I could go research this word custody and find out if it's in my best interest"? What do you think the judges do all the time when I do crap? When somebody else said that. I think this guy Aaron said that to me the other day. He said he was using some words to the judge, and the judge got up and left the courtroom every 5 seconds to find out what the hell he was talking about. He'd come back into the courtroom. Yeah, that was Aaron saying, right?
Yeah. He did twice. I just said a couple of simple things, and he'd get up and leave. All right, I'll be right back. He got up and go back to the back room and come back in 30, 45 seconds.
Yeah. See, this is what I'm trying to say. The judge would go Google it, or he'd call up his friend and say, "What the hell is this guy going on about?" Is there some reason why you can't just tell the judge, "I'm going to require leave of court"? How long? I don't know. Give me about 5, 10 minutes. Why? I got to Google it. I got to Google what the word custody means, because honestly, I don't know what the fuck it means. So instead of fucking playing stupid like you do, say, "Well, I'll take custody." Why don't you say, "Sir, I'm going to require leave of court"? What for? I got to go get competent counsel and find out what this word custody means before I say something that might really hurt me as a kid. Because say if you know what custody means, say you like custodial or custodian. How about custodian? Let's use the simple word custodian. You know what a custodian is?
Yes, I know what custodian means, and now I got a sense for what custody means.
What's a custodian?
A custodian is entrusted with the maintenance and upkeep of something.
Yeah, the security at the building, right? Like a custodian in high school, he's got the keys. He let the principal in.
Mm-hmm.
Like principals might come and go, but the custodian usually is always the same old guy for 50 years. Opens, locks the doors, everything. Takes down the flag. Make sure the boilers don't explode. Custodian guy, the guy who actually runs the damn place. The principal is basically the administrator of the personnel, but the custodian actually runs that place. He knows every damn thing about that place. So he's the custodian, right? But any time that he wants to, he could be replaced instantly, can he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could say, "We no longer need your services. We got another custodian to buy." So whoever's got the authority to replace you as custodian, obviously you don't want anybody to have control or authority over you being a custodian. So to have to say to the judge, "Sorry, sir, I cannot accept such a lovely title of custodian, a custodial parent. I can't. But what I can accept is that I'm a man and you are required me to return my property, Kenneth. I'm going to hold you liable because you're, what they call it is accomplice after the fact. I reported a theft, and now you're an accomplice after the fact of a theft. I reported a theft. I could prove that my child was stolen from me, was taken and carried off, and you're an accessory after the fact. So I'm going to hold you liable. So you just go ahead and keep playing whatever game you want to play, Kenneth, and I'll go over to the civil side and I'll play my game. So you just carry on here in this family court doing whatever nonsense you want to play with over here. But I'm going to get you for an accessory after the fact or reported theft. And you didn't report it, and you didn't return my property, you know where it lies. So go ahead, Kenneth, and keep playing your little game. And I'm going to go play my game. And I'll see you in court, in 22 days, Kenneth, after you properly serve. I'll have you served tomorrow. Have a nice day. Shit like that. But that's because you don't know the fucking words. And you're trying to play a good game with
No, I don't.
You're right, and you're trying to play a word game with these clowns. And you're going to get slaughtered. You're just not taking leave of court.
I mean, when he was first born, I mean, and I got custody, I never really gave it much of a consideration. I always thought it's just because he was with me.
Yeah, when he was first born. When he was first born.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
You bore into his mama. Okay, you bore into his mama's womb. Okay, born means to drill a hole. Okay, he was born. Then he was conceived. The moment of conception was slightly after the moment he bore into his mama. Okay, so he was born after you stuck it in him. Okay, conception. Okay, he was birthed. His birth is when he was delivered out into the world. So you weren't with him since the moment he was born. You were with him since the moment of his birth. Okay?
Okay.
Does it make sense?
So I wasn't with him from the moment he was born, but I was with him from the moment he was birthed? Is that what you said?
Birth, like birth into a harbor, birth into a port, birth into a cradle.
Yeah.
He was placed out of his mom, and he entered into the world. He was birthed.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, he was probably...
Like I said, that's why I'm just trying to tell you. If I'm sitting there as a judge, and I actually know, like, judges probably love playing crossword puzzles, and then probably guys like me who love playing crossword puzzles, and I'm extremely good at playing crossword puzzles. We're just listening to people like you sent us with him since the moment he was born. Oh, so somehow you got impregnated, huh? Okay. And I'm a judge, and I'm just looking at somebody like you. I'm looking down and say, oh, so, you're like these German dads who carry the babies from the moms because they're too lazy to do it themselves. Okay, right. They've been doing it since the 1970s. You have men have been, been impregnated because their wives are too lazy. Okay. So you've been carrying this one, baby in since the moment he was born. Okay. Okay. Really. Okay. So I'm looking at you like you don't have an effing clue what you're talking about. And then I'm a judge. I give you the benefit of the doubt. It's like, oh, okay. It means basically since the baby breathed there. Okay, so I'll let you slide on this word born. And then you'll start playing words like, I want custody of my kid. Oh, really? You want me to give you permission to keep your own damn property? Isn't that special? So you're going to allow me to give you custody? Isn't that special? So the church is just going to say, oh, my God, this guy's a loony tune. But you sound like 100% of the other guys who step before him every day. You don't sound like anything different than any other man that was raised in this culture and society. You sound exactly like everybody else. So then when I see a clown like me come up, like I did the other day with a trailer on the back of my truck, and I wouldn't put a tag on it, and finally I got stopped by the state police, not a town or county cop, and I went to court over it. The judge just said, well, wait a second, this address where you live is a farm. He said, I know where you live. I said, yeah, that's right, it's a farm. He said, well, you use the truck or the trailer for farm use? I said, yep. He says, you don't have to have a tag on it because it's a farm vehicle. Just tell me it's a farm vehicle, and you'll walk away. I'll dismiss the case. I said, oh, absolutely not. I said, I will not swear that it's a farm use vehicle. He says, why not? I said, because I don't have to tell you or any other man on the planet Earth what my property is or what it isn't, or what I use my property for or I don't use my property for. And I said, I'll be damned if I'm going to start explaining to every man, every woman, every guy with a badge, everybody in a robe what I'm doing and not doing with my property. I said, it's none of your business what I'm doing with my property. I said, I require this court take this matter across the street into a court of record. I said, we're going to settle this once and for all. Is this a traffic issue, or is this a matter of property and property of man and what the government can and cannot do with the man's property? So, I mean, I guarantee I know I was, because I was there. I was the only one in court that said anything like that day. Everybody just was, oh, I'm guilty. I was speeding because I was kind of pissed at my girlfriend, or I was drunk, or I was late to the beauty parlor. I had to go to a doctor's appointment. I was late for work. All kinds of bullshit. I was like, I'll be damned if I'm going to explain what I'm going to do with my property. I said, that's my property. And I said, at least there's no breach of the peace. I said, and I require this matter for a court of record. And he says, this pertains to traffic. I said, sir, it was not trafficking anything. I said, I was taking my property from here to there, from point A to point B, in any manner I wished, in whatever purpose I wished to convey it. And I said, there's none of this concern of you or this man or any other man on planet Earth unless there's a breach of the peace. And there was no breach of the peace. I said, I require that this matter lie before a court of record. He said, that's across the street. I said, I know, I already said that. Let's take this to a court of record and get this settled once and for all. Can a state government tell a man what to do with his property? And can another man tell another man what he can and cannot do with his property without a breach of peace? I said, let's just get this settled once and for all. So he said, well, there's nothing I could do until you plead guilty or not guilty. I said, I owe no debt to no man. I said, and I know the word guilt and I know the word debt are the same. So I owe no debt, I have no guilt. So if you want to put down a no guilt, you can put down a no guilt because I owe no debt to this traffic court because I was not trafficking. It lets Alyssa across the street in circuit court for a court of record. He says, you'll get your court of record in 60 days. I said, that works for me. So in 60 days will be December 17th. And the first thing I did is I walked across the street and I said to them, I'm going to require video cameras, audio cameras. I need a stenographer and a transcriber I'm going to bring in. I'm going to pay for them myself. And they said, but this is just a traffic matter. Sometimes we record it, but we don't have a stenographer. I said, no. You don't understand what I said. I'm going to bring my court into this court. I said, it's not going to be a traffic matter. It's going to be a court of claims as well as a traffic matter. It's going to be heard at the same time. I said, I'm bringing my court in. They're like, what do you mean? I said, well, here you go. And I played the YouTube video of me on the Brian Garrish's show. So they've seen the UK Colin Lentz start up. I said, that's me on TV. I said, I teach people law. I teach people all over the world law. So we're going to have a nice video camera going on here. We're going to have audio going on. I'm going to have a stenographer. I'm going to have a transcriber. We're going to make a show out of this. I said, I'm going to show. He said, well, the head court clerk lady came downstairs because I went against this judge 7-8 years ago. His name is Ludwig, and I taught him the difference between legal and lawful, and I know he remembers me because when I sued the court clerk 6 years ago, and he realized, I said, when we went for Precipice Day, and I was sitting in his office, and again, it was like pre-trial, they call it. The rest of the world in Virginia call it Precipice Day, and you sit in the judge's chambers, you get called in at 12 o'clock, and somebody else gets called in 12:15, somebody else goes 12:30. So I showed up, 12 o'clock. And I sit in the judge's chambers, and the judge says to me, how long do you think it's going to take you to move your court? I said, I don't know, give me 15, 20 minutes. And then they call up since I was suing the court clerk over at district court, he was over in circuit court, they called up the attorney general of the state, had to be on that three-way phone call. And they asked the attorney general, how long do you think it would take for the CalmInLaw, the state, to move their case against me? And they said, give us 20 minutes as well. And the judge said, fine, we'll schedule it in 30 days. We'll make it an hour or whatever, like December 11th. And I said, okay, that's fine. And then the judge says, is there anything else you need? I said, well, yeah, I'd like to record this. He says, what for? I said, because it's, I do like a little, I'm teaching people how to do law. And he's like, oh, okay. Don't you remember, sir? I said, don't you remember me a couple of years ago? He says, no, I don't remember you. I said, remember I'm the man who drove backwards, went through stop signs, failed to signal, reckless driving, wouldn't stop when the cop put his lights on. He's like, no, I don't remember. I said, remember I'm the man who taught you from the difference between legal and lawful? And he's like, oh, I remember you. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to recuse myself. I said, why? I said, at least I know you already know the difference between legal and lawful, and what that lady did, though it might be legal, it is totally unlawful. I said, and you would be her best judge of her because you're her equal, you're a peer of her. So you, better than anybody else, would know what she did was unlawful. She interfered in my right to access this public building. I said, you'll be perfect. He says, no, I've known her for 30 years. I worked with her for many years. She's a lovely lady. I said, hey, I'm telling you, she's a fantastic lady. She's dynamite. She's the best lady in the world. She was my neighbor. I'm sure we'd have barbecue every day. But when she goes to work and denies me access to this public building, that's wrong. I said, now, we could be great neighbors and great friends, but she better not deny my access to this building. And she did. She will not take my paperwork. I said, it's over. I said, she will do it from now on. And then I said, I have no problem with sitting on and staying and judging this matter. I think you're great. You know her personally for 30 years. You are a peer. You are her equal. You know better than anybody else that what she did was wrong. You, better than anybody else, is going to tell her that what she did was wrong. So what was funny is he said, no, I'm going to recuse myself. I said, hey, Attorney General, yeah, you got a problem with this judge staying on? He's like, no, he sounds great. I said, yeah, he's fantastic. He says, no, I really got to go. I can't do this. I can't. She's my friend. I said, no, you got to do this to your friend. This is what friends do to each other. You got to set her straight. He says, no, I really got to recuse myself. I said, no, come on, this is going to be fun, quick and easy. This ain't going to take long. 20 minutes, I'll be done. He's like, no, you're going to have to get another judge. So then every judge I tried to get in that county, they all recused themselves. They wouldn't do it. He must have called everybody up and said, don't do this case. Don't, this guy will kick our ass. Don't do it. So I could never get my day in court against her. So I got smart this time. I'm waiting until they got a charge against me. Now they got a charge against me. They have to appear. And even if they want to withdraw the case, because they tried to call me 3 times this week, and I guarantee he was trying to say, Well, it's only $35. Take it. We thought about it, and we got better things to do, so we'll just let it go. No way. You're going to pursue me because see, a defendant has the right to be pursued. So even if they want to dismiss it, I can refuse to let it be dismissed, and I'm going to refuse to let it be dismissed. Say no. You started this fight. You're going to finish it. We're going to finish it to the bitter end. It's only $35. At one time in my life, $35 determined whether or not I ate that week. Now that I got some money, $35 still, to me, is whether I'm going to eat food or not that week. You're not going to take food off my plate. Not one penny's worth of food. You're going to steal from me ever again. We're going to take this one to the end. I said there was no breach of the peace. I said if there was a breach of the peace, I'd pay my $35 and I'd take my lumps and go on. But there was no breach of the peace. There was no community standards in which I violated. I said I understand the rules of the society, and as long as there's no breach of peace, you got to let me be. I said, and there's no man or woman who's going to ever come here and make a complaint that I was driving around without a tag on the back of my trailer. No man or woman would ever be that petty to say, hey, you know what, you're driving around without a tag on the back of that trailer. That was really disturbing to me. You know what, my children can sleep for a week. It ain't going to happen. So, and besides, it's your law. Your law says all vehicles shall have a license plate. Shall's a future tense word. You know and I know, man, you train at the academy that you have no power over man nor his property, yet you still do it anyway. So what you're doing is what they legally and lawfully call as the word is wrong. With deliberate and wanton intent, you set out to steal people's property. And you know it's wrong. You do it anyway. So I said, this is going to stop. I said, I'm just the man who's going to stand in court and stop it. I said, I can't. I said, it's so bothersome to me to have you guys call me up on the show and say, well, Carl, I tried this shit in court and I couldn't. I said, well, you know what? Just watch what I do. I like doing my own damn cases because of you guys are so frustrating. I said, well, why didn't you just say this? That's the next thing you should have said. Well, gee, I didn't know about. Well, gee, that's why I don't like helping people in court. Unless I'm standing there behind them, pulling their string, talking like a mannequin. It's totally fine. I spent 5 weeks with Bali. I mean, all he did was pull a rabbit out of the hat. Pull a rabbit. I said, do the next trick. Now I said, saw the lady in here. What? Make the quarter disappear. What? Do the next trick. He just kept saying, I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm not a person. I'm a man. I'm a man. Dude, they're going to reschedule this for 6 months. Dude, just pull the next rabbit out of the hat. Just say you're guilty. What? Say you're guilty. Let's get on with this. I don't want to say, oh, shut the fuck up. And I had to jump up, and I said, yeah, the man known as Barlow's man, the person that you seek is before this court, yes. The person you seek for, I have first-hand testimony that this person is legally guilty. Yeah, and Barlow's like, you throw me under the bus. Oh, shut the fuck up, you asshole. I got this. Just sit down and shut the fuck up. So the judge was like, and what do you know of this matter? I've been with this man for 5 weeks. I know that this man, the person who knows Barlow's man, is the court, what the court seeks, yes, that he's not a person with a legal society. So, yes, legally he's guilty, but no. He's done no wrong. And this case needs to be discharged in its entirety immediately. He said, well, come forth, introduce yourself. And then I did. But I was like, come on, Bobby, pull the next rabbit out of the hat. But even Gus said that to me. I said, Gus, did you just go up there and say I was freaking guilty? And he's like, no, man, that's scary. See, of course it's scary, to say, I might be legally guilty, but I bear no loss, no harm, injury to anything. And as far as I know, this is still a common law land, right? Right? This isn't France, right? I said that 3 different times, man. I said like 8, and I said it like 10 o'clock in the morning, and like 2 in the afternoon, and like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I said 3 different times. I said, wait a second. Every time we came back from break and anything had to be said in court, I said, wait a second. We're still in England, right? We're still in the UK. We're still in the common law land, right? We're not in France. This court hasn't transferred jurisdiction or venue. We're still amongst the common law, the common land of England, UK. We're still here. Yeah, okay, good. I just want to make sure. Because if we had a change of venue or change of jurisdiction, I'm wasting the court's valuable limited time and resources, which it has. So I just want to make sure we're still in England, right? This is the land of the common law, right? This is still the land of the man, right? Okay, good. We got it. Let's continue. Just making sure, because, I'm from the United States, so I get jet lag, whatever, I kind of lose where I'm at sometimes. Just making sure. We're not France. We're not, this ain't no Napoleonic code, right? Okay, good. And let's continue. Like I said, it's a lot easier for me to just, like I said, with Polly stuff, man, I just winged it. What do you think? I wrote out a script? Do you think I said, oh, boy, now when the judge says this, I do this? What are you kidding me? The judge could have went anywhere. He could have hit that tennis ball all over the damn court. Could have underhand, overhand, backspin, put a backspin on it. I don't know what the hell this guy's got up his sleeves. But you better know the damn words when you walk in there, or they're going to kick the crap out of you. You know, like I say to people a lot of times, just put in a little simple claim, but you got to put in a claim like Bolly did. Now, Bolly's claim was, I think it was 8 words. Was it 8 words or 11 words? I don't know. It's tiny. And that's enough. You know, just stand on that claim and don't say another damn thing. You know, and just keep it simple. You know, that's my property. Can't give it back. If you wish to keep it, compensate me. I don't care. You want to use it and enjoy it? Fine. Give me $1 a second. It's only 80,000 seconds in a day, 80,400 seconds in a day. Keep them for every day. I don't care. Just compensate me. You wish to keep him. He's a good kid. He's worth every penny. Watch how fast they say he ain't worth that much. Well, then just give him back. It's a lot of fun.